What do we do to love when everything's said and done? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love when everything's said and done?
Welcome to Hanging with the Herrigs.
I'm David.
And I'm Leisha.
And I'm Ethan. Those annoying guys around. Are you guys in there? Are you guys in there?
Right in my face. Welcome to the crazy.
I can see you. We were so ready to leave that stupid forest towards the beach.
San Diego.
The drive from Joshua Tree to San Diego is harrowing in a 43-foot camper. At the time, we only had our 2500, and
Let me get some.
little did Leisha know, I was praying. Lots of hills and mountains and drops, and you pull in Mission Bay RV Resort.
And there's a really nice park right next to it, right on the bay, but the whole place is on the bay, which is really nice. But what you don't see when you're booking is that it's a parking lot.
It's a parking lot.
It's a parking lot. Sites are extremely close together.
And once we get it back in, the neighbors pulled in and they were like, how'd you get this thing in here?
Now, we were only, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 campers down and another row to access directly to the bay.
Straight to the bay.
Which was awesome because we could just walk over there. A lot of times Dave would walk over there right after dinner and fish until it got dark. Remember what we could see from the bay?
San Diego Airport.
That's right, the San Diego airports. We watched a bunch of airplanes come in and out right there close to our campsite.
We hurried up and hooked up and basically didn't get anything out because we wanted to see the ocean. We had neither one been to the Pacific Ocean and we wanted to get there in a hurry.
We're in San Diego. We're gonna go check out the Pacific Ocean for the first time. First timers.
But we got to Pacific Beach, which was gorgeous.
And it was almost sunset, so it was even more gorgeous to see right at sunset.
The Bergers hit California.
Yay! We were so excited to have our besties come into San Diego. The only downside was
We had to leave at 7 a.m. to go pick them up at 9:30 a.m. It was about a little over 2-hour drive.
the Bergers have landed
And Jennifer.
in Los Angeles. So we're going to spend the day in LA checking it out with them, and then we're going to bring them back to San Diego for a few days with us. So we picked him up. We were super excited to have him. The first thing we did was eat brunch. Everybody was hungry, and we found a place called Brews Wiffle in Santa Monica. Cheers.
Amazing.
It was so good. We had waffles, we had chicken and waffles, we had truffle fries. There were so many different, everybody got different foods.
Everybody got different drinks.
Our plan with the Bergers was to spend the whole first day in Los Angeles, see Beverly Hills. It was our first time as well. We obviously hadn't been, so we got to all do that together, starting with the Santa Monica Pier.
Santa Monica Pier is iconic. Then we headed to the bright lights of Beverly Hills. Parking is at a premium. We drove around for a while looking for a parking spot for a truck. Guess what you can't find in a parking spot for a truck at all? Nothing.
And the garages are too low, so the clearance isn't.
We finally came across a garage that was 7 foot, and we could make it.
Barely.
The thing is it was a circular one. And so when you pulled in, our truck turns like a Russian tank. What I thought at the top was a cone was actually a pillar.
And, well, he thought it was a cone, and he was like, this is in my way, so I'm just going to move it. But he didn't realize that it was a concrete pillar that he was trying to move with the truck.
She didn't move.
No. And then when we got in our spot, we found a lodged up underneath the truck.
We actually did hit one cone.
And then we noticed a big, not a big, it was a small dent.
It was a dent on the bumper.
On the front of the bumper. So that was really fun. Our first day in Los Angeles with the Bergers.
As you're walking down the Walk of Fame, where we started seemed to be pretty nice and upscale. Restaurants and shopping. The further we went, the more we felt uncomfortable.
The scarier it got.
So about a mile in, we said, I believe that's enough for us. And we turned her around.
I think Brad might have been the one that was like, let's turn around. And we were like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Probably a good.
And you don't realize how long the Walk of Fame is.
No.
It's insane. It's miles and miles, and it's on both sides of the road. It's not just one. You think of the Walk of Fame as this like short walk or something. I don't know.
This
the
idea
blocks
I had
are
was
huge.
completely different.
Yeah, the blocks are really big, and they go on forever on both sides. And then later we find, coming back, we find even more on other streets.
Different roads.
What do you call a bear with no teeth? Bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. A butt-umch. What do you call a train full of bubble gum? A choo-choo train?
Then from there, we saw that the Dodger Stadium wasn't too far, and Dave had that on his bucket list for the entire trip, was to not just go to the stadium, but maybe go to a game. So we went and checked out the stadium, and they were actually closed, but the guy at the front was super nice, and he let us come in where we really weren't supposed to, and Gabe got some pictures there.
Snapped a few photos, and then he told us of a good place to be able to look down into Chavez Ravine. And so we took off, headed that way. The homelessness situation is so bad in Los Angeles that they have dedicated about 50 blocks called Skid Row.
50 blocks.
Yes, just to homeless services and businesses that help the homeless and actual homeless people. Streets that were completely blocked with just tents. Just hundreds and hundreds of people.
You know, there were people right out in the middle of the street, not willing to move for a vehicle.
They would walk right out in front of your car and just stand there.
Yes.
When we pulled down the road and a guy walked out in front of a car and the car stopped and the guy did not move.
No.
Did not move.
And the guy in the car wasn't honking. He wasn't telling him to move. He was like, I'm in your territory and I'll wait until you get out of the way.
So we got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
We still had over a 2-hour drive back to San Diego. So we started heading that direction.
Good morning. Me and Jen are up to go get donuts and coffee. As we're driving down the street, there's this little orange kitten that's crying down the road by itself. We started driving trying to find the other kittens or its family when we hear crying, and literally there's a cat stuck in a tree and we rescued it. And there are babies, 4 babies. We also saw a bunch of birds that wanted to eat the cats. So Jen and I felt like we needed to have a legit Paw Patrol episode and save the cats, save the kittens.
Oh,
We're supposed to be getting donuts and coffee, but instead we're the rescue team over here.
Rebel on the double.
Rebel on the double. I mean, they're the sweetest things. So we've got somebody calling the Humane Society so that they don't get hit by a car. This one keeps climbing up in the tree and getting stuck. Here she goes.
Should be more water. I gotta try to find. Can they stay up in that thing where you're in? At the range with? Yeah. I gotta find like.
After we got finished with the donuts and rescuing kitty cats, we headed to Seaport Village. Finishing the evening off, Sunset Cliffs.
And OMG.
If I hadn't seen the Grand Canyon, I would say that's one of the most beautiful things I had ever seen in my entire life.
Sunset Cliffs is the most beautiful place.
Besides my wife.
Aww.
It's miles of coastline and cliffs and ocean and sunset without anything blocking it.
And you stand up at the top of one of those cliffs and all you can see out is the ocean. Like you can't, it's not like standing on the ocean with your feet in the water. It's so different than that.
This area had a little place where you could walk down in a circle or kind of shimmy your way down. And then when you got towards the bottom, there was a little place where they had anchored a rope in so that you could get up and down from the cliff to the actual sand.
And we were so high up there and they all 3 climbed. Dave climbed it twice back and forth. Sunset Cliffs is one of those places that everyone should have on their bucket list.
Just was one of those places you'll never forget. I'll never forget that place.
When we went to leave Sunset Cliffs, we decided to kind of drive around. On our way, Mr. Comedian David Herrig over here and his little Shadow Easton decided to be super funny and make some jokes, and we made a hilarious compilation video for you to enjoy now.
Hey, can I help? Hey, we're not from around here. Have you seen the ocean? Excuse me. Have you guys seen the ocean? Ma'am, we're not from around here. Could you give us directions to the ocean?
Huh?
Could you give us directions to the ocean?
Oh, Lord.
Hey, we're from Ohio. We're looking for directions. Could you point us to the ocean? Sir? Sir? So we seen the sun go down, and we headed back home for fire and drinks.
And this is the night they drank from the Shotski.
Action. What you have here is the Shotski. Courtesy of the Bergers. They got us the Shotski. And when you come to the campground, you must take a shot from the Shotski.
1, 2, 3.
The next morning, we wanted to try to hit a lot of other places in San Diego with Jen and Brad because they were only staying with us for 4 days.
We're driving home and we're like, what's that? And what you see is, it seems to be like an island that goes out into Mission Bay.
We saw everybody on the bay and they were doing fires and hanging out. And we thought, oh, that will be fun. Let's go back. Let's run to the store, get some food, and then let's go get our fire pit and get some chairs, and let's go and, you know, hang out at the beach and have a fire. Little did we know that there was going to be fireworks.
Is in Cincinnati.
Is that cool, Bob?
Every Friday, SeaWorld is right there across the bay from Mission Bay RV, and they do fireworks every single Friday night.
What a way to spend one of our nights with the Bergers, was a fire on the water. The guys were fishing. It was late. There was people all around. It was fun. There was music and the fireworks.
It was time for the Bergers to head back to Ohio.
We tried to get them to stay, but...
So we wanted to treat them to one more good day.
Yep.
Got a little closer, about an hour and a half drive to Redondo Beach.
We wanted to try a Mexican restaurant, so we actually found one right on Redondo Pier called El Torito Mexican Restaurant. Last supper with us here in California. And we all got some really good food. Mine was like my favorite meal at that time, and it was vampire tacos, which basically the shell was made of cheese, and then they were just really spicy. After dinner, we went to a little dessert place called The Baked Bear, and it had really good ice cream, and you could get it like a brownie stuffed with ice cream or a donut stuffed with ice cream. So we all got something there, and it was really, really good.
What do you have to say? It was amazing. Super blue water. Love climbing the cliffs. Favorite place. Hollywood was super cool. Skid Row was sad.
The next stop on the Obsession Tour, LAX, the granddaddy of them all.
And what are you obsessed with?
Plane.
Airplanes.
That's right.
I'm also obsessed with planets a lot.
Yeah, planets too.
So we had to take Brad and Jen back to LAX. So what we did when we were near time for them to go away from us was find a great viewing area.
An awesome viewing area.
The most recommended viewing area for LAX to see airplanes. And I mean, they are close.
And we're going to let Easton tell you which airplanes we saw on this trip to LAX. Which airplane did we see first?
Delta.
Fly it.
The burger plane.
The Berger plane.
Yeah.
Because they flew home in a Delta.
What else?
We saw Southwest.
And then what other plane did we see?
We saw Alaska.
We saw Alaska. So we took them and they flew home, and we took our 2.5 hour drive back to San Diego because we had to work the next day.
I went back home and cried. The thing San Diego is not good for, my health. Every single place was delicious.
Yeah, no diets in San Diego, that's for sure. One of the places we tried when we first got to San Diego was a place called San Diego Sliders. And we really fell into this place. We were kind of desperate for a place to eat.
And as soon as Alicia walked in, she called me and said, come in.
Yeah, I was just going to go in and get food. He's like, get me whatever. I'm just ready to eat. But when I went in, I saw so many variations of a slider. And I was like, I can't be the one to make this decision for him.
And so as I walk in the door, I knew I'd love the place. Because on the wall, Tony Gwynn. Big, giant poster signed. And one of the best baseball players of all time.
One of our favorite places that we found in San Diego, and we ended up eating there twice, was Butcher's Grill. And that was also sort of like the downtown Mission Bay area in San Diego. And I had a Cubano, and that was the first time in my life that I'd ever had a Cubano, and they nailed it, I think. So
we had hot chick, sweet chick, main chick.
It was another highly recommended, had like over 4.5 stars. I really wanted to try some kind of a different type of ice cream. I read about a place called Afters, also in the Mission Bay area of San Diego. So I walked in thinking we're just going to get ice cream, when I see that their kind of special is this donut filled ice cream. And I was like, okay, we got to try that.
You got me a donut.
Yeah. We're saving our top 2 favorite restaurants in San Diego for you now.
Puesto. And it was the best Mexican I've ever had.
It's like fine dining Mexican.
Without even trying, it was the best. We started out with a guac, and it came with, well, I think we ordered it, but it was a salsa bar.
Yeah, with a bunch of different flavors.
Which was 5 or 6 different salsas that the chef had whipped up for the day. As the Herrigs usually do on a weekend, if we're not at the beach or fishing or parking or looking at airplanes, we are shopping. And while on that shopping tour, sometimes we'll stumble upon some food. And on this special occasion, we stumbled into one of the best burgers I've had, Eureka. It was fantastic. The service was great. It was in a mall, so the atmosphere wasn't great, but it had an outdoor seating area. We were comfortable. It was great service.
We left there looking for other locations to see if we could find another one anywhere on our upcoming travels.
Emptied out my soul. You've heard it all before. Honest, but I know. Left these years ago. I was young and almost still can't fill the void. We don't need the past in our lives for tomorrow. Never see the end of the night filled with sorrow. What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done. What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done. What do we do to love?